Few creatures in cinematic history have captivated and horrified audiences like the Xenomorph. A sleek, terrifying predator born from the twisted imagination of artist H.R. Giger and director Ridley Scott, this alien lifeform is much more than a sci-fi monster. It's a walking, acid-dripping symbol of humanity's deepest fears. So let's explore the rich symbolism behind the Xenomorph, studying its connections to our primal fears, its horrifying parasitic nature, and the unsettling body horror it embodies. Let's start then with the fear of the unknown, a central theme in the Alien franchise. The Xenomorph itself thrives on this fear. Its very existence forces us to confront the unsettling idea of encountering something beyond human comprehension. Unlike other sci-fi creatures, there's no attempt to understand or communicate with the Xenomorph. And unlike Elon Musk, it's not a misunderstood alien trying to make peace, but instead a remorseless predatory force of nature. The franchise amplifies this fear by keeping the creature's biology and motives mysterious. Where did it come from? Why does it need human hosts? The less we know, the scarier it becomes, reflecting humanity's instinctive dread of the unexplored, whether it's the depths of the oceans, outer space, or the alien within. It's why many fans had rather serious problems with Ridley's Covenant movie, which seemingly sought to try and explain away its origins or provide a scientific formula to reproduce them. At the end of the day, it only ends up divesting the creatures of their unfathomable cosmic majesty. One of the most disturbing aspects of the Xenomorph is its parasitic reproduction process. The facehugger forcibly implants an embryo into a host via ovipositor, hijacking their body to bring new life into the world. This grotesque act of violation is deeply unsettling because it taps into the primal fears of losing control over our own bodies. The process mirrors themes of sexual violence, with the facehugger's invasive attack drawing uncomfortable parallels to acts of real-world bodily violations. In this way, the host becomes an unwilling participant in a brutal act of forced reproduction, evoking a profound sense of vulnerability and horror. This penetration by phallic proboscis, compounded by the physical and emotional suffering it inflicts, makes the Xenomorph's reproductive cycle viscerally horrifying, stirring inherent fears of real-world dangers in the audience, a chilling reflection of humanity's deepest anxieties about bodily autonomy and consent. In terms of the physical process of impregnation, this mirrors real-world parasitism found in nature. Parasitic wasps, for example, lay their eggs inside living hosts, and the larvae then consume the host from within when they hatch. The Xenomorph takes this natural horror and elevates it to nightmarish extremes, transforming a biological process into a violent and grotesque violation. The act feels deeply personal and invasive, rooted in a primal fear of losing control over one's body. By drawing on real-world examples, the filmmakers ground this otherworldly horror in something disturbingly familiar and thereby heightening its visceral impact. What makes this even more unsettling is the filmmaker's deliberate choice to have a man, John Hurts Kane, be the first to experience his impregnation in the Alien franchise. The sight of a man being impregnated is inherently jarring, simply because it defies societal and indeed biological norms. Pregnancy, a process uniquely associated with women, becomes horrifyingly unnatural when inflicted upon a male body. This subversion of expectations amplifies the shock value, forcing the audience to confront the universal vulnerability of the human body. If this can happen to a man, then it can happen to anyone, erasing any sense of gendered safety. Thus, the visual of Kane being impregnated plays deeply into the film's body horror themes. The combination of his terror and helplessness with the parasitic invasion of his body underscores how unnatural and violating the process truly is. This choice symbolically strips away notions of control and reinforces that no one, regardless of gender, is safe from the Xenomorph's nightmarish reproductive cycle. It's a clever way for the filmmakers to subtly introduce a new kind of terror for the unknowing 1970s audience, before anyone had even heard of or understood the Xeno lore, and also for them to universalize the horror while challenging societal taboos, making the audience even more uncomfortable with the alien's method of propagation. Following on from these themes and tableaus, the Alien franchise leans heavily into full-blown body horror, a subgenre of horror that emphasizes the fragility and mutability of the human body. It taps into our deepest fears that our own flesh could turn against us, becoming alien and unrecognizable. From the range of iconic chestburster scenes to Shaw's harrowing self-surgery in Prometheus, and even Kay's gruesome birthing sequence from Romulus, These moments are viscerally shocking and deeply disturbing. They force us to confront the horrifying idea of losing control over our physical form, where our bodies become both the battleground and the casualty. By portraying the transformation in such graphic and intimate detail, the franchise not only shocks but also leaves us questioning the boundaries of our own physical autonomy. Further to this theme, H.R. Giger's design of the Xenomorph itself plays a key role in amplifying the body horror. Its biochemical aesthetic, a deeply disturbing blend of flesh and machinery, reflects humanity's unease with technology and our fear of losing the boundary between the organic and artificial. The creature's phallic head and skeletal frame are deliberate choices that evoke both sexuality and death, forcing us to grapple with the themes of reproduction, decay, and our own mortality. On a related note, this unease is mirrored and amplified by the androids in the franchise, such as Ash and David, whose synthetic nature challenges our understanding of humanity itself. Like the Xenomorph, the androids blur the line between life and machine, embodying the fears of transhumanism, the potential loss of our humanity as we merge with technology. Both the Xenomorphs and androids serve as unsettling reflections of our anxieties about a future where the distinction between the organic and artificial no longer exists. Perhaps most chillingly, the Xenomorph is also a mirror. It reflects the darkest aspects of humanity, our desire to dominate and exploit. Weyland-Yutani's constant obsession with weaponizing the creature throughout the franchise continually results in bloodshed, carnage and death, just showing that the real monster isn't just the Xenomorph, it's humanity's hubris and greed. In our misguided attempts to control nature, we indeed create the very horrors we fear. This idea comes full circle in Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where we learn that David, a human male android, appears to play a pivotal role in the Xenomorph's creation. It's the ultimate irony. Humanity's ambition gives birth to its destruction. Ultimately, the Xenomorph isn't just a monster, it's a haunting symbol of the unknown, a metaphor for parasitism and violation, and of course a chilling reminder of the fragility of the human body and spirit. Through its design and storytelling, the Alien franchise taps into fears that are both ancient and modern, indeed making the Xenomorph an enduring icon of horror. But what do you think? What's the most terrifying thing about the Xenomorph to you? Let me know down below. And as always, thanks for watching, if indeed you still are.